to Rudy Reads. I'm Rudy. If you're just stopping in, thank you. Make sure you like, comment while you're here. If you want to stick around and get more updates, please subscribe to my channel. Here we'll be talking about books and kind of my life a little bit as a stay-at-home mom, former educator, still wanting to go in education. So I may be just a working mom in the next few weeks. We are recently moved to Virginia, and so we moved 12 hours to here. And so we're still getting settled, so I'm at home right now. But anyways, so in this video, we're going to be talking about my January wrap up. So the books I read in January, and then talking about my February TBR. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so in January, y'all, excuse me, my spinning in my chair. In January, I read 10 books. For some people, if you're really bookish, you're like 10, I push that out in a week. Let me tell you, that to me is a lot of books. If you read one book, that's a lot of books. If you read a half a book, thank you for reading. Reading is, the best of book lovers struggle sometimes with reading, or just some of us, we like to do other things as well. I am still spinning. Let's stop. Here we go. Oh man, let's get turned around. I put both my feet up, and so that's why I'm spinning. But anyways, so I'll put one of my legs down. So yes, I read 10 books this past January, with setting a goal for the year of 75 books. We'll see. I'm really ahead right now, which I love because that gives me time to slow down. You never know, like what summer brings, or who knows what, how life hits us. But we'll start with my January wrap up, and then we'll talk about my February TBR. So in the month of January, I read a great deal on my Kindle. So I have the Kindle Paperwhite. I just got it for Christmas. It was my Christmas present to myself, and I loved it, as well as audiobooks. So I have Audible. And so that was where all my January books were. And so, yes. And then we'll be going by with my reading journal. So this is the Book Lover's Journal. My personal reading record is how I can keep track of what I'm reading. If, along with digital annotations, with audiobooks, I can do written annotations here. I can rate the books. I found this at Barnes & Noble, so it wasn't like, anything really special, or like off a website that I found. I came across it and I was like, this is absolutely perfect. And so in this journal, you see there are two sides. Each book has its own two pages. You have book title, author, publisher, number of pages, all that jazz. How I discovered the book, where I read it, who would you recommend it to, and then there's a scale of 1 to 10 for quality of writing, pace, plot development, characters, enjoyability, insightfulness, ease of read, photo and illustrations, and then there's a whole side for notes and opinions. And so I'll be using this to talk about my January TBR really quickly. I'm just going to go, not TBR, January wrap up the books I read in January. So I read 10 books. So we have Beyond the One, The Obelisk Gate, The Stone Sky, The Unhoneymooners, The Song of Achilles, The Inheritance Games, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, who is Anne? Evelyn Hugo. Black Cake is what I finished yesterday on January 31st. That's 8. Y'all did this last time. And when I'm not in here, but when I first recorded, and I was like, oh, I can do it by memory now because I've done it so many times. There were 2 other books. And I bet I liked them. I bet I enjoyed them. And I'm just like, what books? What books were they? Oh, goodness gracious. Well, let's get on with it, shall we? Let's get on with it. All right, so let's talk about some of these books that I've read and how would I rate them. So Tom Felton's Beyond the One. If you are a Harry Potter fan, Tom Felton plays Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter series. He's great. I love his character. Tom Felton's a really, from social media at least, he seems like he's a really swell dude. And so it speaks on his time, like filming Harry Potter and just some of the effects of that. And so it's not, I wouldn't call it like a memoir or autobiography of a sort. It's more like a recollection of that time period of his life and just how it impacted him. And it was really great. I definitely rate that 4 out of 5 stars. Simply just because you want a little more. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I don't know if you can see like my little pillow, my Harry Potter pop, my pants. Actually, you can't see those, but they are like the Daily Prophet are on my pants, on my tights here. And so I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. But anyways, definitely recommend that if you're a Harry Potter fan. The Broken Earth series #2 and #3 by N.K. Jemisin. She is a Black author. It's science fiction. It tells the story of Nissan and Isan, who they have in this world that she's created. They have different levels of abilities where they can control. It's such a phenomenal. It's the 5th season is the first book where they can control the I wouldn't say the elements where they dig. It's I'll give too much if I state like if I actually explain it, because a lot of this is revealed throughout the series in 2 and 3, so you don't know this in book 1, the 5th season. And so I'll just say it's a science fiction book. It's really good. She creates a really interesting world where there's a class system of basically people who can and cannot do things. Those that can are actually your lower class citizens. And again, you're like, what can they do? You have to read it to find out. I want this to remain spoiler free. And it seems like such a simple thing, like, oh, just tell us. I'm like, no, because it really is the story. She unfolds like the history of the beings. They're humans, of these humans that are just different than everyone else and what actually is happening. And so I just want to leave the mystery there. So if you like science fiction, it's great. Her characters are, based off her description, they are a dark skin tone. You may even assume that they may be like, if it was current times, they were African, of some sort. And there's like different variations of that within it, people of color that she's describing. So I really liked that. All right. Andy Ware's Project Hail Mary. It's also science fiction. I got really into science fiction this last year, and I'm hoping to continue that. I've normally just been a young adult reader, and so I'm really excited about the science fiction aspect of my reading journey. And so Andy Ware's Project Hail Mary tells the story of like the Earth. It's about so the sun is dying, right? The sun is dying. There's a teacher named Grace who goes on this mission to basically save the world. I mean, not basically not just the world, but the universe. And he encounters like other, beings in the world that's also in the universe that is also struggling with the same thing, like the sun is dying. I listened to the audiobook with my husband with this, and it was great. It was so great. If you like listening to things, it's a really long book. So it's maybe like 500 or so pages. So if you want to listen to, I highly recommend it. The voice of the alien extraterrestrial that being that he encounters is the character's name is Rocky, and I love it. It was joy. It brought joy. I was like, I want a whole book just about Rocky, and so I definitely recommend that. I actually gave that 4 out of 5 because I would have gave it 5 out of 5, but he over explains a lot in the book. It means in solitude and space. But it's just some of the math, it was too much math. The math was mathing too much for me. My husband loved it as an engineer, but me, I'm like, I even taught math. And I'm like, I didn't need to know that thought process. Like there are some thought processes that like. A thriller that I read this year was Local Woman Missing. This is actually for a local book club here in Virginia where I live. And it was really good. I listened to this one as well on Audible. So Local Woman Missing is by Mary Kubica. And it's about a family. So it tells different perspectives of a girl who was taken and like disappeared with her mother one day. There's the perspective of the father, the mother, the girl that's gone missing, the brother or son of the mother that's gone missing, and then 2 neighbors. So it's a lot of perspectives. You're jumping around a good bit, but it all comes together to tell like what happened. And honestly, I was completely shocked. I was just like, this character didn't even cross my mind. Like, touche, touche, touche. So yes, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 out of 5. I would give it like a 4.75. It wasn't perfection, but it was really, really good. I've read a lot of thrillers last year that I know I'm not going to be able to remember. I think I'm going to get like a poster or like something and like record my books read and like on my wall, or like do print like a printout collage or something and put that along the wall of my side of the office, because my husband's side is over there. But I read The Silent Patient, The Maidens, Housemaid, all the popular thrillers, some random, basically anything by Derva McTiernan or on Audible, I listened to it. So thrillers were new for me last year, and so that was a great start to this year. I have a couple thrillers on my TBR for February, but we'll get to that later. Next up, we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Again, that's a huge one. Everyone's talking about it. It's great. It was. I absolutely loved it. I was like, yes. So if you don't know that story, Evelyn Hugo's an actress who brings in a underappreciated journalist to tell her story to. No one knows Evelyn's story, and so this is really great. And so she's really excited about like working with Evelyn, and it unpacks a lot of things of the time. It is an LGBTQ plus group, LGBTQA plus group, and so I forgot to finish that themed book. And so yeah, I highly recommend it. It was really good. That one was definitely 5 out of 5. That's it. Period, point blank. Chef's kiss. We move on from there. Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. If you're looking for a book for Black History Month, hello. Definitely recommend it if you're into historical fiction. So this tells the story of a Caribbean Jamaican mixed family. I said Caribbean Jamaican, that seems redundant, slash Chinese. It's just multiple, it's just a cultural, just melting pot amalgamation, I think I said that right, of cultures for these characters, and it's multiple perspectives of a mother just who's telling the story of her life to her children, parts of it that they didn't know. It's also kind of a thriller, so it's like historical fiction slash slight thriller. There's some suspense, some things that have occurred in the mom's life, and so I like that part. I actually gave this a 3.75 rating. Not that it's bad, it's just, it was above average. It was pretty good. And so if you're looking for a casual read, it was on sale on Kindle if you have a Kindle app, but it's also, I think, probably available on Libby if you have a large library in your area, or a small library. It may not be out, just because I think it's gaining popularity. It was a book of the month book, maybe November book of the month, but I didn't get that one. And so yeah, so I recommend Black Cake for that. Next up was The Unhoneymooners. I cannot find The Unhoneymooners. Oh, by Christina Lauren. It is a romance novel. Oh, cheesy. Y'all, is so cheesy. It was so rom-com, just like boy meets girl. It's a friends to enemies to friends. Friends, yeah. Enemies to friends type book. It's not super spicy. I loved that it wasn't super spicy. I like a good Colleen Hoover book, etc. But this was top. This was just, I love predictability. I love really cheesy characters. I love just, this love does not even make sense like in real life, because like it's just too cute type thing. That's me. Like, don't give me any like too much drama or too much, masculine energy. And it's just like, someone's like, get over here, you're the only one for me, and you can't. And the girl's like, oh, like, no, just give me like, I respect you because I love you type thing. And like, oh, I love you too, and together we're this. And it's like, I smiled the entire time I read that book. Literally from page like 10 maybe on, I was just like, but I was with my Kindle. So let me fix that. Here we go. You know, so there, quick reenactment there. So highly recommend The Unhoneymooners. That was actually, I think, on sale as well for on Kindle, if you have a Kindle there. All right. And the okay, the Song of Achilles, you guys, the Song of Achilles. This was real a huge, let's listen. The Song of Achilles is a beautiful book. It is just mythology and just loyalty and love and friendship, and it's just all of like what you would want in a friend, and just someone that's just ride or die, you know, that's like, I'm in it to the end type thing. That right there is the Song of Achilles. I did not like Song of Achilles. I almost DNF'd that book. I did not like it. I did not want to finish it. I skimmed through probably the last 40 pages of it because it was absolutely boring to me. I do not like mythology. I've tried. I just do not like it. As an English teacher, I understood the themes and just this. The writing was actually really well, really good. It was easy to read. Blah, 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 blah. I'm glad I don't have it on my bookshelf. I have the Percy Jackson series and I've never read it, and that's probably the only mythological thing that will ever be on my bookshelf, unless my son decides like that's what all he wants to read and I want him to read, so that'll be that. So we move on, and I'm sorry if you're like, the Song of Achilles is the best book like that's ever been created in the history of mankind. I'm not sorry. I'm not like sorry, not sorry, but hey, if you like mythology, I highly recommend it. Again, it's not a bad book. I can recognize a good book and not enjoy it. And that was the Song of Achilles for me. So yeah, the Inheritance Games. So the Inheritance Games was something that I came across, like I've heard about it, but it wasn't on my TBR, and I decided to listen to it because it was available on Libby, and I really enjoyed the Inheritance Games. I look forward to finishing the series. I have it on hold on Libby, so I don't think it'll be available for me till March, which is great. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's great. Random chick is selected to, like, I say selected, it's called up, and she's like, hey, they're like, hey, our grandfather died and he gave you like all his money. Who were you? Why were you sleeping with my granddad? Like, but for real, And so that is the Inheritance Games. It's great, There's definitely some frenemies type things, situations in there, and I look forward to finishing that series. So it's a young adult novel. I highly recommend it if you like young adult books, which is with a mix of thriller in there. I'm sure there's going to be some love and romance, and there's little crushes here and there, but I definitely recommend the Inheritance Games. And if I forgot something, I'm just going to post it below, but I'm going to wrap up there. That's my January wrap up, you guys, for this month. So yay! I'll quickly discuss my February TBR, and we'll get started reading it. So you're gonna read with me today. Long-ish video, but here we are. Again, if you're new, my name is Rudy, and I'm a stay-at-home mom / educator. When I say educator, I taught for 8 years. I currently run a business for tutoring, and so this channel is about my love of books and for reading, as well as mixing with the little education things here and there. But stick around, hang out with me, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get on to February. All right, so fun fact, I started a read with me, and my cat walked across the screen and turned off my camera for a long while, and so I did get some reading done. We started tomorrow ×3, but we'll do a separate read with me video in the future. And so with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, share with me, what are you reading this February? Are we reading any of the same things? I will post my Goodreads below. Please feel free to follow, add me as a friend. I love to see what other people are reading, get inspiration from there. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.